Find the average rate of change of r of x equals 3x squared minus 2x on the interval from a to a plus h. To find the average rate of change here, we're going to be using the same formula that we've been using before, but instead of f of a plus h, we're going to be using r of a plus h because our function is named r. So we've got r of a plus h minus r of a all over h. And so now in our function, wherever we have an x, and there's two of them, we're going to replace it with a plus h. So let's go through and do that now. We've got 3 times, instead of x, a plus h squared minus 2 times a plus h, and then minus our r of a, which is just going to be 3a squared minus 2a. Now we're replacing our x's with a's. Good. All over h. Now we're going to have a little bit more algebra to do here than we've had in previous examples, but we can do it. First, we need to square a plus h. We've done that a couple of times so far, so it's a squared plus 2ah plus h squared. Then we can distribute this negative 2 to the a and the h, so it's going to be minus 2a minus 2h. And then there's nothing to do in this second set of brackets yet, so we're just going to leave those alone for now. Good. Now we can distribute the 3 to each of the terms inside the parentheses. So we've got 3a squared plus 6ah plus 3h squared minus 2a minus 2h. And then we can distribute the subtraction to each of the terms in the second set of brackets to get rid of those. That's going to give us minus 3a squared plus 2a all over h. Now let's see if we can cancel anything. We've got a positive 3a squared and a negative 3a squared. We've got a negative 2a and a positive 2a. I think that's all we can cancel for now. So that is going to give us 6ah plus 3h squared minus 2h all over h. And now what we can do is we can actually split this up and divide each of these terms by h individually. So it looks like this when we split it up. And then when we divide in each of those, in the first one, we're going to be left with 6a, plus in the next one, 3h, and then minus 1. So the average rate of change for this function on the interval from a to a plus h is going to be 6a plus 3h minus 1. I know right now this probably seems very complicated and you can't see why we're doing it, but when you get to calculus, you're going to be solving some problems where the first step is to do all of this, and then there's going to be a second step that is going to involve looking at this h and seeing what happens when it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and gets really close to 0. It's a concept called limits, and you're going to be happier in calculus that you've already seen this half of the puzzle before, because this is going to be just a little bit easier, and then instead of worrying about all of this algebra, you'll feel more confident about it, and you can focus more on learning about what limits are and what happens as h gets smaller and smaller and closer to 0, and you can focus on all of the other things that are involved with that problem when you get to it.